Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. His name's Alex, my name's Joe, and we've got something a little bit special for you guys going on today. We're doing a little bit of an off-cycle recording. We're being joined by local funny man hailing all the way from Quahog. Some people may know him, Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin, Stevie Oaks 401. This is long overdue, Steve. How are you
Hey,
doing?
this isn't where I parked my car.
But yeah, we've been meaning to do this for a very long time, and we figured what better way to do it than on pretty much the precipice of Rhode Island Comic Con coming up in about a week.
Yeah, pretty much what 7 and 9 days?
Something along those lines, but who's being
10,
exact?
You
10, 9
think we
days?
would?
Yeah, something
You
like
think
that.
we would have actually looked that up before we started?
Yeah, folks, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Providence Convention Center and Amica Mutual Pavilion in Providence, Rhode Island. Rhode Island Comic Con. It's going to be a great 3-day fun event. It's going to be a lot of awesome celebrities, vendors, cosplayers, artists, local shenanigans. I mean, come one, come all, baby. It's a great time.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a couple of years now. I mean, we both have, but you're doing it in a totally different aspect. You're actually, what do they list you as? Are you
They
a
have me as
celebrity
a
guest,
social. They have me as a social media celebrity guest.
like an ambassador?
Yeah, not really, because there's other social, social media guests that are gonna be there this weekend, or that weekend, I should say. It's good. Me, Jacoby Ray from TikTok,
Yep.
the Hilly Show, I think it is the Hilly Brand Show, something like that. Haley.
Hilly
I've
Billy.
heard of them, but I've never met them before. So the name escapes me at the moment, but yeah, it'll be a blast. Eventually, I think on Saturday only, Real Life Mikey TMT will be there. So it'll be good times. It'll be good times. Oh, and I can't forget Ethan Trace. Ethan Trace will be there as well for social media.
Do you have this
Okay.
memorized out of curiosity, or are you looking it up?
No, just off
Okay,
the top of my head.
because I mean, again, like I was just looking it up as you started talking. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna forget anyone, but you didn't, and I was surprised. Like I
Yeah.
was expect because usually when it's me and Joe, we never remember everything, and we start mumbling
Well,
our
Well,
way
that's why
through it.
Joe. Well, that's why Joe has me though. He just bounces off me. Who's that guy from that thing in the foot and that's gonna be there? And then usually I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah,
This
I
guy,
give
this
him the
guy.
least amount of clues possible, and
it's
he
a
always
family
pulls out
trait.
exactly what my thought is. It is a family trait, yes. So for everyone who is not aware, Stephen and I are relatives, and so this is very long overdue in many many ways. But
And by the way, I just want to make sure I give them their due. By the way, the Hilly and Hannah Hindi, the Hillywood show. So I just want to make sure I
okay,
don't want to give them their due.
yeah, no, absolutely. But for people who don't know you, Steve, um, this has been somewhat of a fairly new transformation walk of life for you. I mean, you've been doing this for how long now?
Since late 2019.
So prior to the pandemic.
Well, actually, no, pandemic.
That's what I thought.
2020. And the reason why I say that is because I remember I went live, not live, but I made my very first TikTok video the day after the insurrection in the Capitol.
Okay,
Because I
yeah.
was so pissed off. I just wanted to make fun of insurrectionists.
That is
So
fair. That's a
January
very
20th. I
valid.
mean, not January
Just
20th, but January of 2020.
January 7th.
yeah.
Yeah, January 7th, 2020.
Yeah. So I mean, but you've been doing this for a hot minute now,
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
I know that it's evolved from extremely humble beginnings, and
I'm never humble, baby.
I kind of wanted you to take me back to besides the insurrection video. Like, what was your thought process? Like, what was your goal doing this? Did you think it was going to blow up, or did you just this is an outlet at the time where everyone needs an outlet because we're all going nuts?
Yeah, I mean, really, it was just an outlet. I mean, I was fortunate to really, except for 5 weeks, I was fortunate to keep working during the pandemic. Um, albeit from home for a while and then eventually, back into the office. But no, really just, I just TikTok was a platform that wasn't new, but was new. It was blowing up, and because people had nothing better to do than sit home and watch these videos. I mean, couldn't go outside without the fear of dying, So I
Yeah.
mean, it just, yeah, it was an outlet. Just I was going through some mental stuff, I think, as we all were,
Mm-hmm.
2019, 2020, 2021. And I was
Sure.
just like, who am I? What have I done in life? I've done nothing up until this point. And at that point, let's see, it was 4 years ago. So I was 41, 40, 39, 30, about 37 years old. And I
Yeah.
felt like I'd done nothing in my life. And I just like I just wanted to be like, you know, I'm tired of just being a nothing. I just want to be a somebody. And I was like, I'll give this a shot and see what happens. I'm not expecting anything out of it. I wasn't expecting 1,000 followers, let alone 1.5 million, to date. So like the hell? Yeah. And it's taken to me a lot of, in the meantime, I've done a lot of awesome things. I've met a lot of awesome people, new friends, acquaintances, and whole different family now. It's strange.
You've had a very interesting journey, to say the least. I have met Alex on this show when I started Graphic Policy, started to come aboard Graphic Policy back in 2015, and you were a guest with me on the shows then. We used to do the convention circuit,
Yeah, for
very
our graphic
much.
policy. Yeah.
Yeah, a very small scale though. I was doing, basically recording review. I'm recording interviews and
And comic
transcribing
book
by
reviews.
hand and typing and doing comic book reviews and things
Yeah,
like
same.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we loved it. And but yeah, somehow you got the idea. Now I know from as kids, you've always been into comedy. Comedy has always been like our big in with each other. Besides the geek stuff that we love, comedy has been something we have shared a lot through our
Well,
lives.
it's like Van Wilder, the scene where it's like, don't take life too seriously, you'll never get out alive. And it's
It's
so
one of the
true.
best quotes ever. Yeah.
It's so true. Don't take life too seriously. I mean, there's times you gotta take it seriously, but at the end of the day, life is just this thing that no matter how many curveballs it throws you, sometimes you're just gonna fucking laugh at it. And
Yeah.
you know, just sit back and laugh sometimes.
And I think that's a good way to look at it too, is because there's also there's amazing quotes in that movie, like worrying's a lot like a rocking chair, gives you something to do, but you don't go anywhere.
Eh,
That one's good. But no, I think like your attitude, I've always known you to kind of be off the cuff. Like you'll say the stuff that most of us want to say, but we're too afraid of the backlash of saying it. And I'm talking just in our normal every
yeah,
family day
the stuff I
life.
can't say on video.
That's stuff that you
For
can't say
fear
on
of
this video,
cancellation. Yeah.
on this one especially. But you've always been known for that fearless attitude as far as approaching a subject matter. You don't tend to, balk at something or say, "Well, I'm not going there." And I think this is kind of a good angle for you. I think where we are today, prior to the pandemic, the sensitivity of what is going on in the world, just in everyone's demeanor and everyone's life, it makes it very hard for somebody who wants to create comedy, especially content creators, because there's got to be this second guessing game every moment that you start to put something together that, oh, is this going to be received? Can I say this? If I
Mhm.
say this, am I going to get canceled? Because that seems to be what everyone wants to do.
Well,
I mean,
that's any social media person with a moral compass, but then we all know there's a lot of people out there who make social media content who just don't have that moral compass, and they're just gonna say what the hell they want to because I'm not gonna be
right,
censored. I do have that moral compass where, yeah, would I like to be more edgier in my stuff? Yeah, but at the same time, I know there's people out there that won't appreciate it, and
right.
I like what I do. I like what I do, so I decide to bite my tongue or not do that thing, or because you know I think Seth MacFarlane once said it right. He's like, the only reason why we get away with what we do is because we're animated.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like the stuff. I mean, in all honesty, the stuff that they get
I mean,
away
could you
with.
imagine a real life Family Guy movie? How would that go?
No.
I
I,
can't imagine it
you,
would go well.
I mean, you'd really have to take out the edginess of what this show is.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I would love to see a live action Family
Oh, I
Guy, as
would.
much
I
as
would morbidly. I
everybody
would
else
love to.
would, I
Yeah.
mean, I
I.
mean, I'll do it, but
Well, that's the thing. You've created yourself a little bit of a, you've dug yourself a niche that, listen, there's not a lot of Peter Griffin impersonators,
no.
and I shouldn't just say that. There's not a lot of good Peter Griffin impersonators. A lot of people like Elvis. It becomes something you impersonate. It's
Yeah.
something that's form of flattery. It's pageantry. But there's good Elvis impersonators, and then there's ones where it's like,
And then
whoa.
it's not so good ones.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I can impersonate Peter Griffin, but I would be terrible at it versus you, right? Like,
Right.
I am
I mean, I
so
try to do
curious
Christopher
now,
Walken, but it never
Alex.
turns out well.
I know I'm not doing it because it would be a terrible impersonation, and I know that.
Okay.
So there's no point in me setting the bar incredibly low for the inevitable.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta dabble with things like I'd sell propane and propane accessories. Yeah.
So how did you? When did you realize you could do a very convincing Peter Griffin voice?
It's gotten better since 2020.
Much better.
I mean, if you listen to the original stuff, it's one of those things that like I could do it and sort of kind of sound like him in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because like when the show started, I was all about Quagmire, and Stewie, of course, like everybody else. And but Quagmire's got a specific voice that, every once in a while I can hit it. Stewie, I've been trying for 25 years and still fucking can't get it. The best I can do is
hard voice.
Cool Whip.
Yeah, you can do
sometimes,
like phrases.
Mommy, mommy, mama, ma. That's about it. That's all you're gonna get from me.
Right.
Sometimes, Quagmire's got that old 50s radio voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey there, Peter. Want to take a ride in my wanna bang? Oh, giggity goo, but Peter, Peter just has come a little bit more naturally, and it's still not a perfect voice. One of those things again I try to work on a daily basis.
I think it's very close. But the other thing is, I think the uniqueness that you bring to the Peter Griffin is you're not a baby. You're not a guy with a humongous chin. You're a guy who happens to resemble Peter Griffin with little effort.
I may have the pounds packed on it. It helps.
Right. So you bring it even more to life into the three-dimensional world because now there's this physical representation. It's no different than like an Imagineer at Disney when you walk around and you get the representation of like the Mandalorian or Han Solo or Mickey or anything like that. And that brings people joy. And I think one of the cool things about this whole thing for you, and I've been an extremely staunch supporter of you, and I still will, always will be, is that it brings a lot of people joy. I've told Alex off camera, I've told him that, there are times that I have seen people lose their marbles meeting you.
I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to entertain people.
And you do.
I want to entertain people. I want to make people laugh. I want to make money. And if I can do all three, Jesus.
Right.
I love the refreshing honesty with that. That is fantastic.
Right.
You're not wrong.
I mean, like the
100%
Joker
agree.
says, though, is like, if you're good at something, why do it for free?
If you're good at something, never do it for free. Yeah. I love that. That's a good line. But no, so like you said, this has been a refinement over and over and over. And I know, but for people who don't know, the goal is for you to obviously do this as your full-time gig.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not close to that yet, but hopefully there might be a rebrand, who knows at this point, so I mean, 90 pounds lost, in the last 17, 18 weeks. And
which is
who knows
incredible.
what
awesome.
that's going to bring going forward. I mean, because I'm not stopping. I still have another 11, 12 weeks to go. So it's like, and I might not even stop there. So, I mean,
Right.
there might be a whole new rebrand of Steven, and it might, maybe, Peter stays, but maybe he's Fortnite Peter, or,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
maybe
You could
Peter
do
goes
it
away
anything.
altogether. Steven comes to become something else, or Stevie, I should say. Stevie becomes something else.
Right. And I think that's something too you want to distinguish the people who may listen. Hey, Alex and I are always shocked that we have listeners, and we do. And it always happens somewhere around the way when we get somebody from
I
like
post a video. I'm like, ooh, a comment. Look at that. All right.
England or London or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, we caught you guys. And we're like, you what? But we've
Yeah,
always
I don't know why that happens every
I don't
time.
know. It's your voice.
No, so behind the
Yeah.
curtain, I'm interrupting you deliberately. The music just started again for whatever reason. My hands were here. I was actually playing with a Wolverine figure.
I was about to ask you, what were you playing with?
The one I got you?
The one you got me, yeah. So I was sitting here playing with that, and the music starts. So I don't know if it starts. I think it's every time at 15 minutes. I've got it nice. Like it's every 15 minutes or at the 15-minute mark it starts, and I don't know why. But
Now, for those who don't know, we're holding up action figures
Yes.
because you can't see us visually. We are
yes,
all
that's right.
those geeks. It's those three geeks today.
Yep.
But
So,
however,
Hold on,
Alex, you were
hold on.
about to
I
go
gotta do
off.
this to Joe. I gotta do this to Joe for a second. Hold on. One day you'll get this, Joe. One day
Yeah,
the, the
big
best
bad, big bad toy store will come in and clutch for you.
the best
one
part
day.
about that is so Stevie's just held up the Phoenix figure, the Legends newest Phoenix figure, and his green screen cut off a good chunk of her because she's a green outfit.
She's green, so it's just this fire. He created fire from his hands. But no, Alex, to let you finish your point because I don't know where you were.
I
Quite
don't
going.
even think I was. I don't even think I was making the point.
Okay, then that makes more sense. So we always have created this vibe on the show. Alex and I became fast friends back in 2015. We both serendipitously joined Graphic Policy around the same time. Our love of Batman brought us together. This used to be a show called Gotham Weekly that
It
we
was
would do
never
maybe
weekly.
monthly. And it eventually evolved. And we're on like what, 289 now? Is that the episode?
Depending on when this gets released, it'll be episode 289.
Okay. So we've done quite a bit, and it's a nice, fun, and we
hell?
haven't missed many weeks or many cycles at
Sorry,
all.
Alex, do you have a light moving around in your room?
I have a cat moving around in my room.
But like a light, like no light flares or anything like that?
In
Weird,
theory,
because I
no.
just saw like a weird walkie Orby figure just go right by your lens.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Great. Steve's also into the paranormal, folks.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
he might be just
So
kind of,
I'm gonna
attuned into
no.
that right now.
I'm telling my wife that because she is convinced that every so often she sees someone coming down the stairs.
Like it wasn't a flood. It was weird. It wasn't a flutter, but it wasn't like a human figure either. It was just like
Yeah.
a ball that just like aimlessly went through the screen. It was weird. Okay.
That is strange. I didn't see it. Much like the music, I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. But like I
Couldn't
was
smell it
saying,
either.
we have always created the vibe on this show, and we use the term show loosely because most of the time we forget we're even recording. It's just two guys
It,
having a chin wag.
the,
But we've always created it that basically, I know you want to say something. That's
I
why I
no,
chose that word.
I was gonna say. So
Joe loves to take it on the chin.
yeah. Well, I'm always surprised whenever it's just oh people listen to us. I'm like no one listens to us.
They
Apparently
do.
they do. I refuse to find out how many people listen to us. I
I
don't
know.
want to know because
I know.
But Brett will tell you.
Brett would
Yeah, he
tell me
will.
if I asked him.
But the thing is, so basically, we asked for our likes or views or something one time. It was shocking over the month period. We were like, "Whoa!" I didn't believe it was that high into digits.
Yeah.
But no, we've always created this atmosphere that it's like if you were in the '80s and you like spliced into our phone call by accident, like, and you just sat there and listened. Like that's the vibe that we've always
Yeah.
created. That's the one that we're always going to promote. We're never going to be this 4K, Scorsese camera everywhere, angles. No, this is us. We're very down to earth. It's usually about the people that we have on, or it's about the topic that we're discussing, because we thoroughly enjoy this stuff. But besides comedy, I know these answers, but people don't. What else are
I
you
don't.
into? Yeah, see, Alex would not know this stuff because I don't
Yeah.
tell.
I'm into all things nerd for the most part. Although I will be honest, I've never seen more than 10 minutes of Lord of the Rings. I've heard the trees fucking walk in that movie though.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of fucking walking. I don't want to
And
be
you can
winded.
swear all
I
you want.
don't want to be winded watching a movie.
I'm a fan.
But yeah, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, really just pop culture in general, which again is apropos for Peter. He's everything. So many pop culture references there. Love sports. If I'm not watching anything Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, it's
would I be right in thinking you'd be a Boston Bruins fan?
Yes.
Die Hard.
And Ducks, actually, and Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, why the Ducks?
Because it started with the movies, and then they came out with the team. I was like, ooh.
Yep, fair enough.
I
So
like
were
how
you?
Alex immediately
I was like,
dismissed it, though.
shiny.
Yeah.
Actually, if I take off my screen for a second here. No.
The reason I ask is that when I was first getting into hockey, it was around the time the Ducks made their Stanley Cup run,
Yep.
and my wife was a Senators fan because they had a farm team near us.
I don't know if you can see it, but
I can see the. Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. So it's a Mighty Ducks of Anaheim banner is what I saw.
Oh,
yeah, the original District 9 from the first
Eden
movie,
Hall.
and then
Yeah.
the Eden Hall Warriors from the third movie. Yeah.
So
And I also noticed today that they also make the Junior Olympic Game Champion ones and the Hawks from the original championship banner. And I'm like, ooh, more banners.
Always with the Ducks memorabilia. But so your wife was a Sens
yeah,
fan,
so she was a
Alex?
Sens fan, so I followed the Senators
I've
for a few
actually
years.
been to a Sens game before.
I have not.
Long
And
time ago, I was down
Oh.
living in Florida for about 6 months, and my uncle Tootie actually surprised me and my nephew, or my cousin, I should say, to tickets to see Florida play Ottawa.
Panthers?
Yeah, before they
Hell
were
with the-
Jackals.
The hell with the Panthers.
All right, fuck Kachuk. All right,
Yep.
I'm
and that
largely
Bennett,
indifferent to
and
them.
that Sam Bennett. Fuck Bennett too.
I had Sam Bennett in my hockey pool to try and score last week, and then I was all happy that he did, and then realized I put Sam Reinhart down instead, who didn't score, and I was really annoyed at myself for not knowing what Sam is what.
Wait, is that like the fantasy version of hockey?
Yeah, it's just one where you go and pick who's going to score, like one player to score.
Oh,
It's almost like
okay.
a parlay.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those ones you don't really have to know much because there's only however many weeks. You've only got to really pick
Yep.
so many players. So
Yep.
That's fabulous for me.
Yeah, it's great for me because I don't know every player on every team, so it leaves
Right.
just enough good players. I can probably muddle my way through most of them. Of course, I forgot to make a selection last week.
Speaking
so
of,
I'm
I found
currently
out that my Ducks jersey will be here between 10 and 12 p.m. tomorrow.
Ooh, finally. This has been a saga.
Finally.
But so you were talking about, how Peter Griffin, lends itself to pop culture. Just the nature of Family Guy alone is just this huge cornucopia of pop references every single 22 minutes. What do you think about like these constant mashups that you're seeing? Like Fortnite's a new one, but like, do you think Peter really lends himself to pretty much any IP or
I'm
property?
not a fan of Call of Duty, but I feel like it would be slapping to see Peter Griffin in Call of Duty.
I've
They've been doing a lot of different Call of Duty mods lately.
Yeah.
I did see they had a Crow Call of Duty mod, and it was almost enough to make me slightly interested in Call of Duty.
Yeah, and they did a WWE with Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley,
and Rey Mysterio, which was so weird.
Mysterio, yeah.
Yeah, not enough for me.
So I mean, I would love to see Peter Griffin and COD. I mean, Fortnite was great. I would love to see more Family Guy Fortnite because we got was Chicken and Peter, but I would love to see weirdly, I'd love to see Meg running around just trying to fucking kill people.
Awesome.
But then Meg gets killed, and it's like, shut up, me. Yeah. I like to see more, but I mean, how do you do an entire season like they're doing Marvel right now? Like, how do you do an entire season of Family Guy? I don't think you could, but I'd like to at least see more Family Guy characters, including a different kind of Peter. I mean, as much as Fortnite Peter looks cool, he's got the buff chest and the muscles, and it's not Peter. I mean, I need a pudgy Peter, please. Thank you.
So you just want a classic Peter Griffin?
Yeah, it was actually kind of weird the other day. You were actually with me, and I was playing Fortnite before we were watching the Pats game, and I killed a Peter. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, it's like I said, mashups are the new rage. I blame Glee.
Like Coke,
Ever since Glee came along, mashups became a thing, and then now they became a visual medium.
You had
you watch your mouth about Glee, sir. Okay,
Alex, what are you about to say?
I said you had mashups long before then, like DC Marvel in the '90s. They had YAML.
I mean, you had Capcom versus Marvel. I mean, now
but not on a consistent basis where it was like
Right.
week to week pulling into new
Mm.
things. Like there were songs that you would put together and go, I did not know that those. Like I'll never forget the first mashup song wise that really made me take notice was Linkin Park and Jay-Z.
Yeah,
I mean, I never thought you would see
the anthology album. Yeah.
right or that they would
Reanimation.
go together.
Yeah.
Like just never. But you know,
Here we are, right?
Encore and Numb go together so perfect.
I
It was
think what
good.
would be interesting is like a South Park versus Family Guy Fortnite season.
You know, I have
Just
horribly
because the
fallen
feud
off
between
South
the two
Park.
have been so good, it's been, rivaled. Maybe throw in Homer in there, maybe throw in some Simpsons in there and just be like animation domination season.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Animation domination. That would be kind of cool. That would definitely be cool. I would like to see, you
Every time
know,
Homer shoots someone, don't.
I wish
Or no,
Family
every time he
Guy
kills somebody, woohoo, and every time he gets shot, don't.
I wish Family Guy would do more year to year specials like The Simpsons do. Like
Yeah.
I wish they would do a Halloween every year. I know they did one this year, but they haven't done one in a long time.
Well, I mean, they've done they haven't not specials, but they do it seems like yearly a Christmas episode.
Oh, their Christmas episodes are the best.
Yeah,
I
I
love their
mean,
psychotic
yeah.
reindeer.
Oh my god, I love Christmas. It's the one time of year I get new pants.
Yeah, so that's something we could kind of expound upon too. Is I'm sorry, my dog is just my dog, so I just had to.
Oh,
take care.
your dog is a frequent guest.
My dog's a frequent guest on the show, so yeah. So we're doing this to promote
Whether you
Rhode
want 'em or
Island
not.
Comic Con, and you said you've got a new family now, professional wise, and I would like you to kind of talk a little bit about that. So we've got Rhode Island Comic Con. It's annual. It is
Yep.
a big show for us out here in this coast. I would say, other than New York, it's got to be the biggest.
It's got to be the second. It's got to be the second biggest.
Second biggest, I would say so.
Behind New York.
Because even Boston and Fan Expo,
Yeah,
doesn't bring out the level of guests that Rhode Island does.
I mean,
And
well, I mean,
let's
be honest about this one. Fan Expo does, but then they all cancel all the big guests. So
yeah,
I mean,
and I've always been a big fan of.
it's
Rhode
like you
Island
wonder if
Comic-Con.
they actually even booked them to begin with.
Right.
I mean, every convention has cancellations, but it's just like it seems like they get like Chris Evans, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm sorry, but Chris Evans, backed out. But then they've already got your ticket sale for entrance, so they're like, to hell with you. Usually cancellations happen within like last couple of weeks for the most part, just because schedules change, stuff like that.
Movies happen.
It's really not the cons. It's not the con's fault.
No.
It just like the Airbenders. They had a lot of voice actors from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Well, they're getting a new season, and everybody had to leave to go start recording.
Right. It's a little easier now than when we had the writer's strike going on after the pandemic. You got to remember, you had the pandemic, then you got this 1-2 punch with the writer's strike that nobody.
The writers and the actors,
anything.
and then the voice actors went on strike, and then background, not background, but the background artists, but like the prop makers and all of them, like the behind the scenes stuff, they went on strike because now they wanted their share, which is all fine and dandy. I get it. Everybody wants to get their comeuppance, and that's fine. They work hard enough for it. They should get paid the way they feel like they should be paid. But no, I mean, the circle back. This is gonna be a great convention. I mean, it's how many conventions take up 2 buildings? And we have 2 conventions, or I should say Ultra Reality has 2 conventions that take up 2 buildings. And that's Rhode Island Comic Con and Colorado Springs Comic Con. It takes up 2 buildings. They're massive. And you're going to realize that also that Colorado Springs isn't the only convention they get throughout the year. They also get Fan Expo Denver. Does Fan Expo Denver take up 2 buildings? No.
No. I'll be honest, the tagline is the biggest show in the smallest state, but it really is a powerhouse. I choose to go to it every year. I've chosen to go to it every year, even before I started with Graphic Policy. It was the first convention I went to with my father.
Same.
I went there. I loved it, and then I loved it so much I got the convention bug. So I said, "Oh, I want to go to Boston. I want to go to New York. I want to go here. I want to go here, everywhere." And I've been to Boston a couple times, and it just didn't blow my doors off. It's just like you said, there's some disappointment, and it's not trying to say this convention's better than this convention, but hey, I
I mean,
ha-
every convention has their pluses, every convention has their
yeah,
minuses, and
Yeah,
you
you
know,
can. I think it's entirely valid for you to say, in your opinion, Rhode Island is
sure,
better than Boston, right? Like, I
yeah,
think that's
I'll say
totally
that.
fair. Like, I've been to conventions that were little more than an overblown flea market that I've had
right,
way more
Yeah,
fun at than some of the big ones with bigger guests, because
yeah,
it was just stuff that I was interested in. And would I? Can you compare apples to apples? This $5 entry convention that I went to versus this $45 a day
right,
convention? Absolutely not. But I still had way more fun at one, and I was in and out within about 3 hours. Like,
mhm.
yeah.
I saw everything I needed to do, spent what I needed to spend, and I was done. And I had way more fun there than spending 3 days at another convention. At the end of it, I'm just exhausted. You feel like shit afterwards because
Yeah, it's a grind
you.
when so that's another thing. Like, I cover these conventions.
Mm,
I know how much of a grind it is, but you actually work the table, Steve. You work the circuit. You know, you're there 3 days in a row, and it's not every day is the same.
No,
Some days,
no,
yeah. So speak to it about that. Like, what do you do on those days? Like, I remember when you were first starting out. It's worlds different now, but when you were first starting out, there wasn't as much foot traffic in that area because they were always focused. Rhode Island's always been a very, from I've
celebrity
noticed,
centric,
celebrity heavy
celebrity and
centric.
artists.
Right. It wasn't until cosplay and TikTok really started taking it off.
Mhm.
And I've got to say, I think you're the
I
one
mean,
that helmed
cosplay
them.
row itself has grown so much.
And I want to give you a lot of credit for that because I think
I don't think
whether
it had a
it
lot to do with that, but
I
yeah.
do because you've brought a lot of notoriety. You've brought a lot of eyes to the cosplay circuit that
Yeah, I
I've
mean, there was a
seen.
lot of great cosplayers. You know,
There
I'm not a
is.
here's the thing is, like, I get thrown into the cosplay thing because I dress up
Right.
to do the character. But I'm not nearly anywhere as talented as those who are on Cosplay Row. I don't make the only thing I made was my belt buckle, and that was a actual belt buckle that at first spray painted. Now I have it wrapped with yellow car
Oh
wrapping.
my God,
I
that
mean, that's
belt
the most
buckle.
cosplay I do. There are so many cosplayers out there that I just wish I had a quarter of the skill they have.
Yeah.
I mean,
We know a lot of them.
we have a Doc Ock. I mean, a guy literally
Oh,
walking Doc
dude.
Ock. It,
Yes.
the,
With the arms that move.
They don't move, but yeah, they light up. I mean, it's insane the different things that are out there. I mean, you got
The
you like
animatronic Venom.
yeah, animatronic Venom. I mean, the year we had Carl came as Ghost Rider, but flaming Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Yep.
I mean, that was insane and in of itself. I mean, Superman cosplayers, Batman, Spider-Man, even just um
Deadpool, Wolverine,
Deadpool, Wolverine, video games.
yeah,
There's so many just
anime.
great people out there who could just take things and make our childhoods and our fantasies realities. And
Yeah.
I give so much credit to these guys. I throw on a pair of green pants. I put on a white shirt, a yellow belt buckle, as I like to call it, the beacon of hope, and
The beacon of
and
hope.
a
Yeah.
pair of circular glasses. That's all I do. I mean, and I make videos and put them on the interwebs. I just so happen to be good at that.
It does bring a lot of eyes where there wasn't previously, though. And as somebody who has seen this himself firsthand, whether you're told or not, you've brought a lot of eyes to that part of the convention circuit. It has grown by leaps and bounds. It also helps that the fact that these cosplays keep getting bigger and bigger and better and better.
Yeah,
And people that we know who are friends of ours, they just get more talent. They get more ambitious with
mhm,
their choosing. They just decide to make like bigger and bolder
yeah.
cosplays, and they do it every time. You're like,
I mean,
they
look at
can't
Haunted
do that.
Cosplay with his Wolf Wolverine,
Yeah. Oh God, I love that thing. Yeah.
and now he came out and now he came out with the zombie Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Lakota who can go from being the Predator to Lady Pool to
Yeah. to
Sophia,
Resident Evil,
Harley
Sophia.
Quinn, but the different things. I mean, Kidpool now. I mean, you saw the pictures. I
Oh,
mean, she's a great Kidpool. I mean, Jesus,
looks like she came off the movie set.
right? If only she had a foul mouth like
It
like in
just
the
looks like
movie.
she came off the
I
movie set.
mean,
But another one of our good friends, Real Life Mikey, TMNT.
yeah, real life Mikey
He
TMNT.
has really come a long way.
Yep.
But like I said, I do think, I know you're being modest, but I do think you deserve
I don't think I'm
you
being
deserve a
modest. I think I'm
lion's
just
share
being
credit
honest
on a
about my
lot of this.
answers because I mean, I don't see myself as the reason why the cosplay scene really blew up because there was so many great cosplayers before I even came around, and Blunderland, Chandra, she's freaking amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Hallian Workshop, and I know I'm forgetting a lot of people right now,
There's
off
too
the top
many
of my
to
head right
name.
now.
There's too many to name. But
Ray Ramos,
yes,
Matches
he's
Malone
been
as
around for a
Batman.
long time.
Yep. Matches
Yeah,
Malone.
just alone.
Yep.
No, I mean what I think also helps too is you don't shy away from interacting with them though.
No.
You are constant, like, so there can be clicky parts to conventions, like everyone has their own
Everything. Yeah.
circuit, you know what I mean? But I think that it's great that you really give a lot of shine to cosplay. You don't shy away from any type of content, um collaboration,
No.
if as long as it's tasteful and
Because
sometimes
because at
not
the end of the
tasteful.
day, it helps them, it helps me,
Right.
Helps get them seen and it helps me create content. It's a win-win for everybody.
So this is your fifth year doing Rhode Island or fourth?
I think my first year was 2021.
Okay,
So
so then this
3 or 4 years, something like that.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So do you have any goals
4
for
years,
this
4 years.
convention? 4 years. Okay. Do you have any goals for this convention coming up in a week? Is there anything that you want to try new? Is there anything that you're looking to get out of it?
Well, I'm always
Or
looking, I look at the conventions. Obviously, I'm there to make money. I mean, that's number
sure.
one is to make the money. But I look for a lot of inspiration and in content. I look at it as 3 days of, hey, I could bang out a lot of content, especially with my job. I average about 48 hours a week right now. So content creation throughout the week is a little hard.
Yeah.
So I look forward to a lot of these events that I do because I'm like, oh, good. This gives me the opportunity to record a lot of content. Um, and I did so last weekend between King Richard's Fair
Right.
and the Providence Bruins game. I mean, I wish I would have gotten more content than I did, but the Muse wasn't musing very well the whole weekend, and it was but I got some good stuff. Like I just posted one before I went live with you guys. You've seen it, the one with the two fine gentlemen from Carver's Finest helping brother
Oh,
out.
that was so good. Yeah.
I asked them to cuff me and they wouldn't. I'm like, damn.
I think
I
that's
wanted to be
so
authenticious, okay? But they at least did the perp walk with me, and I appreciate that. I didn't want them to get in trouble with their sergeants,
I
their
think it's so
captains.
fun. We've seen you. I've seen you. I've been part of these ones that you've done. You've done them for wrestling. I mean, you've traversed over into wrestling
Yeah, I still
because
don't know how I did that, but yeah.
because a lot of this stuff is cross pollinated with fan
Yeah.
bases.
I mean, think about it. I mean, Big Show once came out as Peter Griffin.
Yeah. So I mean, there's not really a lot that he can't mash up with.
Or Peter
And
Griffin.
or Peter Griffin. And but hey, there was the one idea that I was trying to get. It didn't come through, but we were going to have you at our Boston Battle Royal for Fenway,
Mhm.
and you were going to come in as Peter Griffin. And maybe that comes next year, but that just didn't
Maybe.
happen. But I think that would have been a fun moment for fans and kids. That's the thing too, is I
I
noticed
mean,
a
hey,
lot of
I somehow, someway made 25,000 people chant
it's
over the
SmackDown.
main event.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
told Alex
over
this
Solo
is
and Jimmy. The fuck?
I told Alex this is a fact. I watched the production guy from the WWE throw his headset down and bolt towards you from way behind you. And I was like telling my friend Billy at the time, and I'm going, that guy just chucked his headset. What's going on? Then I saw him bolt down to you because it was a whole stadium. And
Hey,
it
we're
wasn't,
glad you're here. We're glad you're having fun. Thank you for coming. Can you not do that again?
yeah. And it wasn't just during commercials. because if you go back and watch, I think that episode, it tries to get piped out. It clearly got piped out in post production, but it's still there because the announcers make note of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The announcers actually go, I think we got Peter Griffin in the house or something to that effect. And I mean, that's such a cool thing because
I remember seeing that on Reddit, entirely unrelated to, like, Joe never showed me. Obviously,
Yeah.
you didn't show me. I'm
And it's weird
scrolling
because
through Reddit. I'm
I
like,
got all
oh
this
shit, there's Stevie.
beef with Solo and Jimmy
Yeah.
now, and yet I'm friendly with their father.
Very friendly with their father.
You know, and it's hilarious.
And it's just like this is the stuff that when we were
Don't wanna have him
kids
pissed
you would
off
have
yet is
wanted to
Jay.
do. Huh?
I don't want to have him pissed off yet. Is Jay and Zilla?
Jay and Zilla.
Yeah,
Zilla, you
I
don't have the chance
like
yet.
the yet.
No, not Zilla.
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah.
The werewolf. Yeah, the Samoan werewolf. Yeah, don't piss him off.
Only because he wasn't there yet.
But yeah, no, dude, like these are things we talked about as kids, that all the stuff we enjoyed and whatever, and you've got more opportunities on the horizon, and it's just, I think it's smart for you to say you don't know what's going to come of it, as far as, you know, there might be a reinvention of Stevie. I do think Peter Griffin's your niche. I think it's something you do better than anyone. And I think that you should stick with it as far as it goes, because it has other avenues. Peter doesn't just have to be a heavy set guy. He can be a jacked Fortnite Peter. He could be a nerdy Peter if you go that
That'll be
route.
interesting because this, next weekend I'm trying something new for the first time.
Oh, cool.
Since I can talk about it now. I have my own panel on Friday night at 6:30 leading into Angry Geeks Live.
Nice.
You can talk about this. Is going to come out after.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. Yeah. I mean, I can talk about it anyways because the schedule's posted. So,
Okay.
But yeah, we were joking about last night that I'm going to be the opening act for Angry Geeks Live. So I'm doing, what really grinds my gears with featuring Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin, Stevie Oaks. But I'm not going to do it in the traditional sense of just sitting behind a desk, with the, hey, you know what really grinds my gears? It might start out that way, not behind a desk, but like, hey, you know what really grinds my gears? And I'll get into it. But I'm going to try and make it into more of a stand-up kind of thing.
Okay.
And then also try and throw in some crowd work, because who knows how much. So we had been planning on doing some kind of panel from the beginning, like starting like early this year. And then, as they announce more guests and stuff like that, things go by the wayside. And a few weeks ago, I reached out to Jay and Mike, and I was like, so we still on for the panel? And he goes, right now, no, we just have the social media panel. I'm sorry. It's just, we have a lot of guests and a lot of spots to fill. I'm like, fine. Okay. Not going to lie. I was a little disappointed, but then last week or the week prior, Jay reaches out to me. He's like, so what do you want for a title and a description for your panel? I was like, thought we were doing a panel. He goes, oh yes, we moved some things around. We got a hole now. So, no, we can go ahead and greenlight it. I'm like, oh, sweet. And I was able to come up with a description and a title off the top of my head within a few minutes. I was actually impressed by myself there. And I was thinking about it more, and I was like, great, now I gotta think of material. And so now it's gonna be a time crunch between now and next Friday to come up. But there's a lot of things that grind my gears, and I'm sure it'll be easy for me to
what about them giving you like a live mic and just walking around?
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll either be walking around, or I'll stool it, a la Matt Rifish, with the stool in the water.
I think that would be a good idea. That might be a
any hot grandmas in here, huh?
Yeah. So much Boston material and New England material, and just so much you can do. And let's face it, we
you know what really grinds my gears? Star Wars Acolyte. I mean, what the hell? If you're gonna make a Star Wars movie, Star Wars TV show, at least make it good. I mean, it even make a second season. That's how shitty it was.
Is there any Acolyte guests there?
Shit, no, there's not. No, there's not.
There are some Star Wars guests there, I think.
There was, but none of them was Acolyte. It was we got the Chicky Doo from a show called The Bad Girl. Yeah.
There's a dude
Oh,
from
We got
animated Star Wars too.
Yeah, we got Giancarlo Esposito, we got, Katie Sackhoff,
yeah,
AKA Bo-Katan.
that's a big one.
Um, I think Lauren Mary Kim's gonna be there, but she's a great, great stunt actress. You don't see her face necessarily, but her stunt work is amazing. And I give her a lot of credit, and I'm not just saying that because I know her. But yeah, so I mean, and I'm sure like throughout the day I'll get a lot more in my brain to go over. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. We're coming up on the hour though. We could do this longer. We can, like Cap, we could do this all day. But we all have things. Is there any final thoughts or anything else you want to plug? This has been great having you on.
Yeah, I mean, just Rhode Island Comic Con, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Great guests lined up. I mean, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, Tom Wilson, um, Matthew
Some big
Lillard,
hitters.
Guy Ulrich,
Yeah, yeah.
great voice actors. They're gonna
Sean
be
William
there.
Scott,
Sean Williams, yeah, I mean, basically American Pie, minus
basically
Jim.
American Pie. Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, Vicky, Kevin,
yeah,
Finch,
yeah.
Stifler,
Heather
Heather. Yep, Heather. Um,
is no Jim
the,
yet.
the,
No
yeah, I
Jim.
mean, both. Like I said, Katie Sackhoff, John Carlos Esposito. Um,
A lot of big
Trying to
ones.
think,
I
I'm like
mean,
they dropped out, so I can't. No. Wrestlers. I mean, god damn. I mean, the Hardy Boys, Rikishi,
well, it
Dustin
hurts my
Rhodes.
heart
Wait,
Swerve
is
dropped
Dustin Rhodes
out.
gonna be there? I think Dustin.
No, no,
No,
I didn't
no.
see
Oh,
Dustin.
Kevin. No, not Kevin.
Britt
I know you're
Baker's
talking.
there.
Yeah,
Darby
Britt Baker,
Allin's there.
DMD, Kurt Angle. I think is gonna be there as well.
Yeah, Bully
Um,
Ray, Devon, Darby Allen.
yep.
Um,
We got Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek,
yeah,
William Shatner, Michael Dorn.
yep.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a lineup. And again, we have some really new cosplayers this year, even people I haven't heard of. So it's a whole
Mhm.
new. It feels like a whole new cosplay lineup this year. Nicole has done a great job of curating cosplay guests for all the shows. It hasn't been, it's nice because it's not the same cosplayers all the time, even though they're all deserving. There's only so
Yeah.
many tables, but it's great to have a good rotation of people and even new people showing up to little promotion events that we do throughout the year. You know,
Yeah, they're starting to grow. I've noticed that, like, Terracon and the
yeah,
smaller tertiary shows that ARE puts on
yep,
are doing better than they were previously because they're growing. And, I always wondered, like the superhero genre, I always wondered if,
mm-hmm,
cosplay, not cosplay, but if Comic Cons were gonna hit their apex and just start dipping off, but they haven't yet. They seem to be something that no matter what, I mean, even if you do like a comic book convention in like Middleborough,
mm-hmm.
it's still going to get some kind of guests and some type of traction because people love this stuff. And then it's rewarding to go to these things when you feel immersed in them.
And what I think is great about Alter Reality Entertainment and their conventions is, yeah, they're heavy on the celebrity guests. They
They have
actually, I
amazing
think they've won. I
vendors.
think they've actually won a Guinness Book World Records once for
Oh, wow.
most guests in a con or something like that. Um, but also their commitment to the artists.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know Eric Yacco is a huge driving force behind that. But the one thing is that they do a great job of trying to make sure people get fed. The
Yeah.
artists, the celebrities, the vendors. I mean, the vendor spots for Rhode Island Comic Con get sold out almost immediately because they know the money they're going to make. It's
They
insane.
do because there's always interest. And like you said, I think it's very important to consistently promote the artists and the writers and the colorists
Mm-hmm.
because that's the stuff that you started with in ballrooms and in Holiday Inns.
Yep.
That's when I went to a very first comic convention. It was down in Maryland with my father at a uh, Holiday Inn. And it was just two ballrooms, but it was no celebrity guest. If there was one, it was from a TV show, maybe Eric Estrada or something,
Mm-hmm.
but like that's what it was.
It's
And
gonna
then
be
the
any
first,
international travel.
yeah, yeah, exactly, adjusting the wig. And then the first big one I went to was Rhode Island 2015.
Yeah.
2014. I'm sorry, 2014. I covered 2015, and then it's been dead balls on from those afterwards. But I mean, I always want to work my way out to like San Diego or New York. Like those are big ones for me. But I don't know if Rhode Island's a grind and it's 3 days, then sorry about that. If Rhode Island's a grind and it's 3 days, then San Diego is going to be something of a crazy fest.
Well, hell yeah, but still want to do it.
Oh, I eventually want to do it. It's kind of like that roller coaster you want to ride you haven't got to yet. But and I
No,
apologize.
it's one of those things. Like I there's like certain things I just like we said. There's other Peter Griffin impersonators out there, and his
Sure.
his home is New York Comic Con. That's where he flourishes.
Yep.
I flourish in Rhode Island. I'd like to get to San Diego first.
Well, I think that is
Yeah.
most likely doable. I
Yeah.
I don't unforesee that happening, but yeah, there's a lot of potential, and it's
But
a
also,
lot
I
of
mean, think
fun.
about it. I mean, you look how easy Rhode Island Comic Con flows.
Yeah,
Like how easy it is to walk through, look at
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
everything's intersecting, and Michael Burgee behind the scenes, he does all the floor planning, and
yeah. He does a great job. He does a
he's
great job.
a wizard when it comes to that floor plan. Everything has a purpose, everything has a place, everything flows. There's no traffic congestions really anywhere. I mean, every once in a while there's a long line. If there's a line that's, for a celebrity
Yeah.
that's really long, they adjust the weekend. Sometimes they'll move them to a different spot. So that way they'll allow for,
Yep.
fans to line up, but other fans to be able to walk through. They do a great job of adjusting on the fly.
I've seen
Yeah.
lineups before for some celebrities or artists that go past another person's table,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the guys just sat there. They're like, none of these people want to see me.
That
Right.
happened
And
to
I
me
was,
that happened to me in Colorado, because we were they keep all the social media people together, obviously, and we were lined up, and then at the total end though was Dante Basco,
Yeah.
and his line was so far back it was like getting up to us.
yeah, I was lucky enough that the guys like, hey, none of these are here. Just come through, and I had a great chat. I think it was
Yeah.
Tom Taylor. Maybe we had a chat, and
Oh, really?
he's
Tom
like,
Taylor?
yeah, but the person right next to him was Tom King. And it was in the height of Batman's like popularity, right?
Oh
With
God,
everything.
yeah,
So,
no kidding.
how was it? Anyway, like it was
The
something
two
like that.
times.
Yeah. So I was able to get and have a chat and move on. Like I just said, I don't want to seem like I'm cutting the line. He's like, no worries. So great. It's a great experience for me, but you could tell clearly there were
Yeah.
people on the other side of that line that may not have been as
Yeah, happy about it. Sure.
yeah, which is I understand.
And you
I
know what?
saw
I really
Tom
and I
King in
love the
DC.
celebrity who, no matter how many people are in their line, will
Yeah.
give you the time of day you deserve, or you
Yeah.
should get.
There's very few. Amanda Connor, I think, is the greatest of all time that I've ever seen give their due, because there had to be at least, I would say, well over 1,000 people in her line. 1,000.
Hmm.
And I had the chance to interview her. And I remember telling her, just go through everyone in your line. I'll come back like 3 o'clock or whatever. And she's like, it's a long line. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, because everyone here you're giving the time of day to. And it's just, that is what something that like warms my heart. I will actually go out of my way to interview somebody more like that I watch have that kind of candor and behavior with people.
It's a case
I mean,
of
look at
I would like
JDF. He
to-
was always the last man standing.
JDF was unbelievable.
And even and to her credit too, last year Rhode Island Comic Con, Barbara Eden, the
Yeah.
con closed at 5. She didn't get out to like 7 because
Yeah.
she made sure she saw everybody who was waiting in her line, and she's 96.
No, she's not 96.
She's in her 90s.
I know. I think she's like 88.
Hey Siri, how old is Barbara Eden? Hey Siri, how old is Barbara Eden?
This is very technical, folks.
93 years old.
93.
93. Wow. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I saw her in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Add the math. Okay. You're
She
right.
waited for everybody.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan did that too.
Yeah.
At the height when he was Negan.
Negan, yeah.
That. I mean, that's what I mean.
Hey, can we
For
talk about
everyone-
Barbara for a second? That set that Bill
Yeah.
Diamond built for her,
Incredible.
oof, that genie bottle was.
Yeah, Bill Diamond's a whiz. The way his production company, and that's something we could go off on for a long
Yeah. I
while.
mean, the
But
Emmys he
it's
brings
just,
to the shows speak for themselves.
yeah, I mean, he's part of the Terrifier
Yeah.
lineage now, and that we all see how that's going. As Chris
Yep.
Jericho says, it's the #1 movie in America. But it beat out Joker too. So, which I'm
From
still
all,
going to see.
it's already coming to streaming at the end of the month.
No,
But
it's
Terrifier or
not.
Joker?
Joker.
Shut
Makes
your
sense.
ass.
Makes sense.
No, it is because
Who's going to see it?
it didn't do anywhere near the
You know
numbers
what's
they
that
were
I heard the other
expecting.
day that Lady Gaga took that movie because she thought I'd get her an Oscar.
Oh God, that poor thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that it's
I mean, she's got
literally.
an Oscar. She has an Oscar for
Yeah,
vocals for music.
Mm-hmm.
I literally thought it was what they said. The critics was it's two brilliant performances wrapped up in a travesty of a movie. I have no doubt that Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix are going to be amazing. But what I think the issue was, and going on my geek soapbox here, I think the issue was giving Joaquin Phoenix a lot of creative control, like Hulk Hogan, and I think it takes away from Todd Phillips as the director. And the only way that they were able to get him back was he had to have a massive amount of creative control. And this is what happens when you have actors and stuff who try to wear two hats sometimes. Like we see Tom Hardy with the Venom movies. He should not direct anything.
Nay.
It is just. I'm going to see Venom: The Last Dance. By the way, I'm
Same.
going to see it on
I
Friday.
will. I will watch it. So the thing is, and I know you got to
We
wrap.
all got to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, when it comes to there are times when an actor taking creative control can really work and work
Sure.
really well.
Ben Affleck.
Edward Norton, right? So
Yes.
there are actors that can do it, actresses that can do it, and there are some who think they can do it with mixed results. And I think when it comes to Joker, I truly think I haven't seen it, so bear this in
Neither
mind.
have I.
But I think that in about 10 years, we're all going to be talking about how Joker 2 is fantastic, how it subverted everything. It wasn't appreciated at the time. Of course,
So,
I could be horrifically wrong and say, no, that
so
really
you
sucks
think
because I
it's going to
haven't
be a
seen it.
Star Wars prequel situation where everyone ripped on the prequels for so long, and now they're getting this major love? Like
Yeah,
they're
but you know why they're getting the love? It's because the
everything else is so
sequel
bad.
trilogy was terrible.
Yeah.
Right, when I look at Star Wars, I try not to think about the sequel trilogy. So in my mind, The Mandalorian is the newest thing Star Wars has
Agreed.
done.
That's right.
Like
What
I
season 3? Is it season 3? Yeah, season 3 is coming up, and they're actually making it a movie.
yeah,
No, season 3 already happened.
So
yeah, so
season 4.
season 4 will be a movie. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about The Force Awakens. That never happened. Anything past right, it doesn't matter. No, I really enjoyed Force Awakens. I will
Oh,
say
that great actor and Johnny Boyega.
Well, it was more the that's the movie that really got me into Star Wars, so I'll
Yeah.
always have a soft spot for it.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Like
Force Awakens too.
I think the issue with it was that there wasn't a cohesive vision across all three, right?
It was a remake in the strongest of words, almost like script for script. They had to blow up the Death Star again. I mean, and it had
and then
the
they blew
same
it up
week.
again in the third. All right, so before we go off into tangents again,
This is what happens on this show. So
yeah.
we go off into like final thoughts that last for an hour or so.
Yeah. So Stevie, where can folks find you?
You guys can find me on TikTok at Stevie Oaks 401 or RI Peter Griffin. You can find me on Instagram at Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin, all one word. X at RI Peter Griffin. Stevie Oaks on Facebook, and most importantly, you can find me on the Cameo app. Right now, I am number I think 27 in the top 50 under $50 on Cameo right now. So, hoping to get number 1, but we're running short of days now. So, guys, go to cameo.com slash I think it's cameo.com/Stevie Oaks, Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin, or just go to cameo.com, go into the search bar there and type in Rhode Island's own Peter Griffin. I should pop up. I'm only $10 for a regular 3-day request, and I think I'm 15 or no, I think I'm 20 for a 24-hour turnaround.
There you go.
And
And you
business
know where to
request.
find us.
Yeah,
We'll always be here, and we will
will.
not say it.
We never do. Folks, if you're hearing the music about now, we're going to cut it there. Of course, it doesn't actually play when I want it to play. Why would it do that? There we go. Stevie, thanks again for coming on. It has been a
Thanks for
blast,
having me.
and we can't wait to have you again.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you later, big fans.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.